Hello, all you beautiful people out there. What is going on? This is your friend Murdock coming at you fast with another Paragon build video, and today we are gonna be updating all of our Ranger builds. Okay, a lot of people have been asking for these update build videos, and like I said in the past, I'm going to be grouping them based on the three main classes: fighters, casters, and rangers. And I decided to start off with rangers because there's only 4 of them right now. I want to see how long this kind of video will take, and I want to see how well it does. So please drop a comment if you enjoy the video, if it's good. But we're going to kind of run through these pretty quick. It's not going to be as in-depth as everything else, but I will point out the major differences in between all of the different rangers. So if this is a helpful video, guys, drop a like and let's get going. So we're going to start off with Murdock the Rock Johnson, who is arguably the best ranger right now at this moment in time. Our prime card for every single ranger is going to be the one that gives us more damage. It's not going to be Centurion. So because Murdock's energy, we're going to go with Archmagus. The first thing that we're going to build is Madstone Gem, attack speed, and damage. Okay, a popular trend that you will see across all of these rangers is the fact that I have damage, attack speed, armor penetration, and health incorporated in every single one of these builds, no matter what the ranger is. There are slight differences in the builds, though, between rangers, so I will point them out when we get there. So Madstone Gem is the first one that I build. Then I go into Sage's Ward. After that, for some early health, I go into Staff of the Adamant with these upgrades that you guys see here that are linked. 1 point health, 1 point damage, 1/1/2 damage. Okay, familiarize yourselves with these little icons. If you have trouble, you can go down here and they'll tell you what each icon means. So for example, the Lightning Bolt is energy damage, energy damage. Okay, I'm not going to go in depth into every single one, but there we go. We're hovering it. You guys can go ahead and take a look. Okay, Madstone Gem first, Sage's Ward second, Staff of the Adamant third. Now after this, at this point, I usually go with Blink Shot on Murdock, and I prefer Blink Shot over Blink because I'm a very aggressive Murdock player, and I can usually get a kill or an assist when I'm using this, and it will automatically reset the cooldown, which is really, really good in a team fight, especially late game when you need to make sure that you stay alive when those death timers are 90 seconds. Or higher even. So, it's very, very important to have Blink Shot, in my opinion, over regular Blink. Okay, that's why I like that. Once you get better with using it, you won't really waste it, and that 5-minute cooldown won't really seem as scary. After that, I usually start replacing stuff. I usually either go straight up into Meltdown with 3 major casts, or I get rid of my initial Madstone Gem if I need more points. Okay, the next thing that I like to go into is Pen. So again, get rid of something if you need to, hurry up and build this card. If not, then it depends, okay? It's situational. If I need a lot of Pen, I will go with 3 Focus Shocks. If I don't need that much, I'll go 2 Focus Shocks and 1 Major Cast. If not, then I could go even less and have 1 Shock and 3 Casts. It all just depends on what the enemy is building, and at this point, you can tell what they are. After that, we're going to go with attack speed with Whirling Wand. We're going to go with a lot of attack speed when it comes to this. Vicious Kinetic, Major Cast. Or, this just depends on the situation again. If you want more health first, you can go with Elder Mage Amulet before that. So these decks, you guys can customize them. You don't have to follow the exact order. I just want to tell you guys the order that I build the cards in usually, especially the early game cards. So this is pretty much Murdock the Rock Johnson for you guys. That's Murdock's build. Let's go into Sparrow's build. Okay, Sparrow is going to be very similar to Murdock when it comes to what you build, except the fact that I have a bit more of a situational Sparrow deck here instead. So the biggest differences are that Blink Charm, okay, instead of Blink Shot, because obviously Sparrow's not Fury, she can't have Blink Shot, so we go with Blink Charm instead. For the rest of the cards, it's a bit similar. Okay, you want to start off with damage. I start off with the Guardian's Ward for damage, then Windcarver Blade for damage and attack speeds, right? These early game cards right here. After that, I build into just a bit of more damage and health. So I like to go with the Adamant Edge because it gives me a good health in the beginning. It gives me good damage in the beginning. That helps a lot. Later on, I like to go with the Windcarver Blade or the Stone Tooth Heart in case I need Pen or attack speed first. Stone Tooth Heart is a good card for health and Pen that I like to use with Sparrow. I don't have much penetration on Sparrow compared to Murdock because I want to focus more on attack speed with her to stack her passive, okay? Plus, we have other cards in here such as Charging Brute. That's a really, really good passive card. I was about to say active. On unit kill, you gain 20 max movement speed for 15 seconds, so you clear a wave of minions. It's freaking crazy. You get heck of movement speed. You're all serpentining around super speed Sparrow. It's insane. It's scary as fuck when you see a Sparrow coming at you with their ult activated and charging brute plus a blink charm. It's crazy. So you build these 1-point cards first, then you get blink charm, then you get these higher damaging and health cards next, and then at the end you get your charging brute and your even more damaging cards. Now, the reason I have Spike Boneplate and Thorn Greenweave here is in case I don't need more health from Adamant Edge. Instead of, more health, if I want more resistance, if they're not building too much pen, then I go with that. But usually with Rangers, you don't want to focus on armor because you need a lot of armor to survive all of the pen that everybody and their mother builds with this current game state. So you definitely don't really focus on armor much. I just have it in there just in case. So focus on health, damage, attack speed, and pen. Those are your 4 go-tos with most Rangers. So there's the Sparrow build right there for you guys. Now let's move on to Twinblast, aka Twinblast, and he is a bit different in the fact that he is the only Ranger that I do not put Blink on, because if you are able to use his slow and his dash properly in a fight, you can outkite a lot of people using that kind of peel, especially in a team fight. It's just a bit trickier. You have to get a bit better with Twinblast. And again, the same thing. Start with Flash Fire Piston for good damage and attack speed in the early game. Guardian's Ward for some damage and a little bit of health. I actually don't have a third Minor Strike to go with here, so I put one lesser health instead. You guys can do that, okay? It gives you more health anyway. It's pretty good. Then after that, usually go into Rust Breaker to give you a lot of damage there early game. After that, I go with the health from Adamant Edge. Okay, that usually helps a lot. Then I go with Pen, with Rust Breaker again. And then, replace your earlier Flash Fire Piston with a faster Flash Fire Piston. You'll get more attack speed, get a whole buttload of attack speed with Twinblast because he's really good with attack speed. His attack speed's the best scaling out of any Ranger, so you want to focus that a lot with Twinblast. And then the very last card is actually might look like a shock to a lot of people, but it's actually going to be Brand of the Iron Eater with 3 lesser drains, okay? This is going to give you a 3% crit chance, but more importantly, it's going to give you a total, excuse me, of 15 lifesteal. 15% lifesteal, okay? This isn't meant to keep you alive longer in a fight, although it totally can. It's meant for sustainability, especially when clearing waves, especially, late game when you don't want to back. It helps push waves a lot when you don't have to back all the time, and this sustainability is really helpful. And in a team fight, it could still help you out a little bit if you're a good Twinblast player. Okay, it really could. 15% is not too much, but it's also not a little. If you keep kiting out the enemy with this, card and with the peels that he has, with the slows, with the dash, with everything, okay, he goes and peels them out, and he has such a high attack speed that he will get that health back pretty decently as long as you keep landing your shots. So Twinblast is definitely a higher tier Ranger to play as of right now because he is quote-unquote underpowered compared to the first 2 we went over right now as it states at this point in time. Maybe if they're watching this video in the future, he's like the best Ranger again, but for now, as it stands, this is my deck for him. Go ahead, check that out, screenshot that if you'd like. Now, the last one we're going to go over is Grim. He is my least favorite Ranger, okay? I just don't like his hitbox. I just don't like his kit, but if you're good with Grim, if you like Grim, by all means, use Grim as well as you can. And he is actually built very similarly when it comes to Murdock. Okay, the biggest difference between him and Murdock is that he has a regular Blink Charm instead of Blink Shot, because obviously, he doesn't have Fury. I don't like using Teleblink or Stab Blink because they don't let you teleport after taking damage, whereas Blink Charm does. So if you're in the middle of a fight, you need to get out quick, you can use Blink Charm as Grim for some more mobility and get out of tough situations. So with Grim, I start off with Whirling Wand, 3 minor cast, then Mage's Ward, 3 minor cast, and Grim you want to build a little bit of mana because of his Suppressor Cannon, because of his ult. It does utilize a good bit of mana to use his abilities, and you don't want to run out of mana in the middle of a fight when you're not paying attention to your toggle. Okay, Grim is a very tricky Ranger to play because he does utilize mana for his abilities to deal the most damage. So you do want to make sure that you're keeping your mana in check a little bit. That's why we have a couple cards in here for mana. Really, we just have this one card in here for mana. But if you want more mana, you can substitute minor mana, whatever. I usually just don't mess around with too many of his abilities too often. If you want more mana, you can substitute the Shadow Scroll for an Amp Crystal instead, okay, and get 3 major casts in the Amp Crystal instead. Alright, you can do something like this instead of that Shadow Scroll. But I like Shadow Scroll because it gives you a little bit of pen, and Grim is really good when it comes to pen, and the way we're going to build him is we're going to build him with that attack speed later on, substituting our first Whirling Wand for the second Whirling Wand with attack speed and damage. Okay, Elder Mage Amulet, again, with the good amount of health, you can build this about 4th. Okay, usually I like to build this card about 4th. The way I usually build Rangers is I go with these 2 minor damaging cards first, then Blink, then 1 big damaging card, and then I trade out, you know, one of the first cards for some health, or, you know, something like that. Again, it's all situational, all depends on what you guys want to use, but usually that's how I build my Rangers. And of course, we have Shadow Scroll here. If you do the math, we actually can get an extra point of pen up in this deck, so that's why I have Sinister Shock in there. Usually you do want to use at least Sinister Shock when building pen with Shadow Scroll in this deck. So Sinister Shock in 2 major casts, or Sinister Shock, Focus Shock, and then a cast, or any combination of those 3. So yeah, there you guys have it. So we ran at about 11 minutes with only 4. Let me know if you guys got this. Let me know if this was helpful for you guys. I mean, obviously, this is just meant for you guys to really just, like, pause the video, look at it, you know, build around it. And I'm not really going into too much detail, but hopefully, nonetheless, for those of you newer to these builds, it still helped. It still was informative. If you did enjoy, like I said, drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, make sure you all have a wonderful day.